This is a recording for Camperdown. I'm Andrew Lemon, and I've written a lot over several decades about the history of Australian thoroughbred racing. To me, the history of Australian racing is a window into the larger history of Australia. There are stories of great horses and their connections, and I'm writing a book now about one of Australia's greatest ever horses and his connections. It has a working title of Crisp, Sir Chester, Tom McGinley, and me, and that's what brings me to the Western District. Crisp was the famous steeplechaser bred by the late Sir Chester Manifold at his famous home and property at Camperdown. Crisp nearly won, should have won, the 1973 Aintree Grand National Steeplechase, the most grueling horse race in the world, and I challenge you to watch the replay. You can find it on YouTube without a tear coming to your eye. Crisp led the field all the way over 40 formidable fences, only to be beaten in the shadows of the post. It took a unique horse to beat him, Red Rum, the only one to win the Grand National 3 times, but I have good reason to argue that Crisp was actually the better of the two. Both Crisp and Sir Chester are in the Australian Racing Hall of Fame for good reason, and Sir Chester was one of the most influential of all the chairmen of the Victoria Racing Club, responsible for the creation in Victoria of the TAB, which eliminated illegal SP bookmaking and directed revenue into the sport of racing. I'm not sure that Sir Chester would be entirely happy with the way betting dominates racing today, but that's a different story. The Scottish element in this story comes most strongly through Tom McGinley, the Glasgow-born Australian champion jumps jockey who rode Crisp in all his Australian steeplechase wins in the early 1970s. Tom's life story is amazing, and what a contrast to that of Sir Chester. Tom grew up in poverty in war-ravaged Clydeside before migrating to Australia in the 1960s, and as a jockey he won our Victorian Grand National Steeplechase at Flemington a record 5 times in a very short space of a few years. There'll be more about Scotland in my talk for the Robbie Burns Festival. You see, although the Manifold family were English in origin, as we say in racing, that was only on the sire's side. The dam side was Scottish. And in my talk, I'll explore why the first generation of Manifold brothers in Australia didn't go in for racehorses and why the second and third generation did with a vengeance. And I'll be looking at that trajectory. I'll also consider the extent to which neighbouring Western District Scots played a role in developing the Manifold family passion for the horse. So I look forward to sharing those thoughts with you when we can get together at the Camperdown Robbie Burns Festival.